You're trying to keep up with all the AI news, right?
Yeah.
Cut through the noise and figure out what actually matters.
Yeah, it's a constant flood.
We totally get it.
Yeah.
So today, we've basically done that homework for you. We waded through piles of stuff news, blog posts from OpenAI and Google, benchmark results, research updates, the works. Think of this as your personalized shortcut. We want to nail down the big developments in AI models and tools right now.
Exactly. Our mission, if you will, is to pull out the really significant nuggets, give you some clarity and maybe some actionable insights into what's new and important.
Couldn't have said it better. Okay, let's jump right in with the elephant in the room. OpenAI, they had that live stream.
Oh, the big launch, O3 and a 4 Mini.
Yep, and they dropped a blog post and this system cart thing too, which gives more detail.
It's interesting. They've got these two models. O3 seems to be pushing the envelope, scaling capabilities.
Right, like scaling up RL, reinforcement learning for better efficiency, and enhanced vision and tool use. Though those aren't on the API yet, are they?
Not yet, which suggests, maybe still baking, fine-tuning those more advanced features before letting developers loose.
Makes sense. You see that often. Roll it out carefully.
And the vision part, even limited, it just shows how these models are getting better at handling more than just text, right? Images, understanding the visual world.
Definitely. And there's a 4 Mini, what's the story there? Cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah, and supposedly performs better across the metrics OpenAI cares about most.
Get out of here. Cheaper and better. That's the dream, isn't it?
Pretty much. Seems like a real focus on efficiency and accessibility. Dan Chipper even did a qualitative review, gave his take on using it.
Ah, okay. So real-world impressions starting to trickle out.
And that combo, lower cost, high performance, that really opens doors for more people and more applications to use this stuff.
And they didn't stop there, did they? There was also the GPT 4.1 series for developers specifically.
Yeah, apparently optimized for real-world tasks. But here's the kicker.
Uh-oh.
The GPT 4.1 Mini, the smaller one, actually did better than the standard GPT 4.1 on some benchmarks.
How does that even work? The Mini wins.
Well, it kind of points to specialization, maybe. Like, the Mini might be really, really tuned for certain things, making it excel there, even if it's smaller overall.
Huh. So bigger isn't always better. It's about the right tool for the job.
Precisely. It's about matching the architecture to the purpose.
Okay, moving away from the core models for a sec. They also dropped the Codex CLI.
Right, the coding assistant tool. And it's open source.
That's the big part, isn't it?
Yeah.
Open source. Plus, reports say it outperforms Claude Code.
Which is saying something. Claude Code is pretty well respected. Making it open source, though, that invites the whole community in. To build on it, improve it, find new uses. That's smart.
Okay, let's talk tool use. This seems like a major area of progress. Models using tools together more effectively.
Yeah, and not just using them, but integrating different types of info, like bringing images directly into the chain of thought.
Whoa. So it's not just processing text prompts anymore. It can see something and reason about it.
Exactly. That's the move towards true multimodality. Text, images, working together, it lets them tackle way more complex problems. Imagine it seeing a diagram, understanding it, and using that info along with text instructions.
We're seeing examples already, right? Like reasoning about an image, resizing it, searching the web based on it.
Even figuring out if a user's on vacation based on context or images. It's pretty sophisticated deduction.
Yeah, deducing location, vacation status.
Yeah.
That feels like a step up in autonomy.
It really does. They're not just responding. They're actively gathering, analyzing across modalities, and drawing conclusions. Huge implications there.
Okay, but let's add a note of caution. There were those reports about O3 making stuff up, hallucinations about its own capabilities.
Right. That's super important to remember. These things aren't perfect. Hallucination is still a thing, an ongoing challenge. As they get smarter, the potential for subtle errors is there too. Reliability is key.
Absolutely. Grounding them in reality. Okay, one last OpenAI point. Price. O3 sounds expensive?
Significantly, yeah. Reports say maybe 4 to 5 times more than Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Wow, that's a lot.
And there was that example, running Ader's polyglot benchmark could potentially hit $200 just for that one run using O3.
Okay, that puts it in perspective. So OpenAI aiming for the high end, maybe, while Google's pushing price performance with Gemini.
Seems like different strategies playing out. Cost is definitely going to be a major factor for developers choosing their tools.
Okay, great. Let's widen the lens now. It's not just OpenAI, right? What else is happening out there?
Absolutely not. The field is moving fast everywhere. Lots of action from other companies, open source, benchmarks.
Like IBM, they released Granite 3.3.
Yep, under the Apache 2.0 license, which is great for openness, comes in 2B and 8B parameter sizes.
So more accessible, good for smaller teams or running on less intense hardware.
Exactly. Democratizing access, encouraging tinkering outside the big labs. That's crucial.
Then there's ByteDance. They announced Liquid. What is that?
They're calling it a language model and a unified multimodal generator. So text and images from one system.
Unified, okay. But some doubts.
Yeah, there seems to be some skepticism about the claims. Some early test results maybe haven't wowed everyone. It's early days, though.
Always got to take initial claims with a grain of salt, I guess. Needs independent verification.
True, but on the image side, their Seedream 3.0 is apparently topping the artificial analysis image leaderboard now.
Oh, interesting. So, strong on images,
Yeah,
even if Liquid is still finding its feet.
seems that way. They're definitely pushing hard on the multimodal front with Liquid, despite the questions. Shows ambition.
Okay, Google time. Gemini 2.5 Pro. Improved long context understanding.
Yeah, that's a big focus. Handling much longer inputs, which is vital for summarizing big documents, extended chats, analyzing lots of data.
And the price performance is supposed to be good too.
Reportedly very strong, so better long context and cost-effective. That's a compelling combo.
And they also showed VO2, text to video.
Pretty impressive stuff. Takes a prompt, generates an 8-second cinematic-looking video, and it's available in Gemini Advanced now.
So directly in users' hands, that could really change content creation.
For sure. Lowers the barrier for making cool video content. Marketing, personal expression, lots of possibilities.
Looking at benchmarks more broadly, price versus performance, Gemma models are doing well.
Yeah, reports suggest Gemma models dominate the Pareto front. That efficiency curve for non-reasoning tasks is getting the most bang for your buck there.
And Gemini Flash 2.0 is outperforming Llama 4.1 Nano.
Apparently so. These head-to-heads are useful, right? They show it's not just one model rules all. Depends on the task.
You really got to pick the right model for your specific need.
Exactly. No one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Agentic web scraping. Fire Ear 1.
Yeah, this is cool. An agent-based scraper designed for those complex, dynamic websites that trip up normal scrapers.
That could be huge for data gathering, pulling info from sites that are constantly changing or have lots of interactive bits.
Represents a real step up. An AI navigating, interacting, extracting data autonomously. Opens up a lot.
And remember, Codex CLI, the coding tool. Turns out it can also look for bugs, catch them before you run the code.
Yeah, it reportedly catches a significant percentage early on. That's smart. Build bug checks right into the generation flow.
Saves tons of debugging time, potentially leads to more stable code. Nice.
Very practical improvement.
Okay, back to multimodality for a sec. Video generation is really heating up. We mentioned VO2.
Right, and ByteDance's Liquid aims to be unified text-image. There's also Kling AI 2.0, focused on empowering creators with video tools.
It really feels like we're seeing a convergence, doesn't it? Text, image, video generation all becoming more integrated.
Definitely a key trend, leading to richer interactions, new creative tools. It's exciting.
Now, something maybe less flashy but super important. Understanding these models. Interpretability research.
Crucial stuff. Goodfire AI released open-source SAE's sparse autoencoders trained on that huge DeepSeek 671B model.
Whoa, 671 billion. And SAEs help us peer inside, understand how it works.
Kind of. Help understand how the model represents information internally. Vital for trust, finding biases, steering behavior.
And related to that, this new data permeation research.
Yeah, that looks at how learning a new fact can ripple through the model and affect unrelated knowledge, like unintended side effects.
Huh. So learning one thing can subtly change how it understands something else entirely.
Potentially, yes. It shows how interconnected everything is inside these massive networks. Researchers are trying to figure out how to manage that.
Makes sense. You want updates to be predictable. And what about reasoning data distillation? Making smart models smaller.
That's the idea. Take the complex reasoning output from a big, powerful model and kind of condense or distill that capability into a much smaller, lighter model.
So you could get sophisticated reasoning on, like, your phone.
That's the goal. Make powerful reasoning more accessible, more deployable.
Yeah.
Big potential there.
We're also seeing more tools and frameworks popping up for developers. Pydantic AI, LangGraph.
Right. Pydantic AI for building Gen AI apps. And LangGraph is interesting. It's an open source LL manager for automating workflows, especially approvals.
And it's actually being used, like TAM 3.0, that Abu Dhabi AI assistant.
Yep. built on LangGraph, shows these aren't just academic projects. They're being adopted for real-world systems. It indicates the ecosystem is maturing.
And for mobile automation, Droid Run.
Open source framework for scripting and controlling Android devices automatically. Useful for testing, automation, maybe accessibility stuff too.
Cool. More open source driving innovation. What about training these huge models? Intellect 2.
That was about decentralized training. They trained a 32B parameter model using a distributed approach.
So spreading the training load across many machines, making it feasible to train even bigger models.
Exactly. Overcoming the sheer compute barrier for these massive scale models, essential for progress.
And improving search. ReZero.
Yeah, clever idea. It's a Llama 3.2 variant, trained specifically to be better at using a search tool. They used a technique, GRPO, and a custom reward to encourage it to retry searches more often if the first attempt fails.
Like teaching it persistence. Don't give up on the first search result.
Kind of. Leads to better results on tasks needing web info, grounding the models better.
Okay, quick hardware heads up. Someone built a deep learning rig with 10 older AMD MI50 cards. Lots of memory, relatively cheap.
Yeah, but the punchline is, performance wasn't great. Apparently worse than current consumer NVIDIA cards.
So more VRAM isn't everything. Architecture software optimization matters hugely.
Big time. It's a good reminder. Check relevant benchmarks, don't just chase raw specs.
Gotcha. Quick mention of uncensored models.
Yeah.
LLMs modified for minimal filtering, like from WiFi.
Yeah, that's a whole area. Models tuned to reduce content filtering, it's definitely a discussion point in the community.
Okay. And circling back to benchmarks, the O304 Mini versus Gemini 2.5 Pro comparison, it's nuanced.
Very. The takeaway seems to be Gemini might be better in some situations, maybe OpenAI in others. It really depends on the specific task and context. No single winner across the board.
Context is king, as always. Finally, for the image folks, HiDream and Comfy UI updates.
Yep, HiDream is now available for Comfy UI, which is a popular interface, and it includes a GGUF loader.
Making powerful image tools more accessible and efficient on different hardware. Good stuff.
Continues that trend of democratization.
Okay, wow. That was a lot. But it really paints a picture, doesn't it? AI, models, tools, they're moving incredibly fast.
Unbelievably fast, more capable, cheaper, handling more types of data.
It feels like more than just gradual improvement, like we're really hitting an inflection point. So here's the thought I want to leave everyone with.
Yeah.
With these models getting cheaper, stronger, more multimodal, how does that fundamentally change things? Not just how we use tech, but like creative work. How we find information? What's the real impact going to be? Which of these breakthroughs we talked about do you think will shake things up the most in your world?
That's the big question, isn't it? Something to really chew on.